All right, we've got our new segment this, for the second time, Sexual Follies.
Johnny, I said we were through, just to see what you would do. You stood there and hung your head, made me wish that I were dead. Oh, Johnny, get angry, Johnny, get mad. Give me the biggest lecture I ever had. I want a brave man, I want a caveman. Johnny, show me that you care, really care for me.
Johnny, get angry. I want a brave man. I want a caveman. Do women prefer nasty guys? I mean, every nice guy on earth comes to the conclusion at some point that he could have more women if he could just learn to be nasty to them. And then you get articles like this one. This is from Grumpy Sloth. Sierra Marley writes the 7 worst things about nice guys. She says, everyone hates nice guys, especially genuinely nice guys. There's nothing more annoying than a boy who thinks that he is owed something by a woman simply because he's not treating her like garbage. Can you say beta for this? That's really cruel. For the sake of clarity, here's a list of 7 things that people hate about nice guys. Number 1, they're clingy. Even if you're not dating, they insist on hanging out with you and texting you incessantly. 2, they are entitled. Every time you see a nice guy, you can bet it's because they're complaining about how women only want to be with jerks and they never give nice guys a chance. They think they're entitled to be with a woman simply because they don't treat them like garbage. 3, they're needy. Now, this is different than clingy in a few ways. First, they need constant validation and will put themselves down as a way to get you to compliment them. 4, they're always whining. Girls and guys alike hate that self-proclaimed nice guys are always belly aching about how girls reject them for being nice. 5, they don't listen to your problems. 6, they think being nice is the only thing women care about. 7, they take everything personally. And of course, the feminists move this to another level with why chivalry may not always be what it seems. Men who hold doors open and smile may actually be sexist, study claims. If you're the sort of gentleman who holds the door open for a lady or the sort of woman who expects him to, then be warned, such acts of chivalry may actually be benevolent sexism in disguise, according to researchers. And they go on, they have this chart, like all the things when men talk about women, their responsibility to take care of women, when they won't refuse to split the check, when they want to pay for dinner and all this is secret sexism. And, the effect of that, the effect of feminism is really interesting. Instead of making guys better, nicer, more feminist, it just made weak guys cave to feminists, but it made guys who want to retain their manhood, it turned them into Schwarzenegger characters. I mean, the idea in the old days, the idea of a man had a lot of humor, had a lot of, wit. You had to live by your wits. You had to match wits with women. Then it became, in the 70s and 80s when feminism really took off, it became this idea that you were just this muscle-bound guy who came and took everything that you want. There is some science, insofar as we have science, in the idea that primate males abuse women and that the primate women expect it. There's been studies. There's a recent one with baboons where they found out that the baboon males don't rape women. What they do is they pick a woman and then they just abuse her continually until she's afraid to go with anyone else, so that when she's ready to get pregnant, when she's an estrus, she belongs to him. And the women expect this. And there's a lot to suggest that this is, that, how do I put it? That this is something that is like evolutionary, that is in men. I personally hate evolutionary reasoning because so much of it is pie in the sky. I mean, even if I know there are people here who don't believe in evolution at all, but for those who don't believe in evolution between species, but even if you do believe we were descended from apes, and I was descended from an ape around 8 o'clock this morning, so I can speak for myself. But I mean, even if you do believe in this, I believe that the reasoning, we don't even know what kind of apes we might have been descended from. We don't know what. I believe this reasoning is completely wrong. I hate it when people start talking about alpha males and beta males, because that is how gorillas behave who live in tribes. We all know that there are people who are leaders, but most of the good leaders I've ever seen in the military, for instance, are also good followers. They know when they're not the guy to be the leader. And then there are people like artists like myself who are like lone wolves. They can't be, they're not trying to lead or follow. They just want to be left alone to do what they're going to do, and they can't be moved off their dime. Here's the thing. All this way of thinking, and we were talking about this a little bit yesterday, but it still applies. All this way of thinking is reducing people to physicality. It is reducing people to just their flesh and bones. And the thing about, what is it? Spencer, my son Spencer is here today. What is that quote? Spencer knows everything. So that's why I bring him in. Just what is the quote? Is St. Paul. Yeah. You're not on the dime or anything. St. Paul, that we are, our treasure is in pots of clay or something like this. Do you know?
Spirits in clay jars?
Yeah. Spirit. What is it?
I can't say it.
You can't say it. Okay. But it's something like, the kid is worthless. How are you ever going to support me in the manner to which I've become accustomed? It is something like that our souls are like treasures in pots of clay, something like that. And the thing about the body is we have a body, but we aren't a body. We are a spirit. The thing about the body is the body makes no distinctions. Men, just like women, want to be loved. They want to be bonded to somebody. They want to be in relationship. They want to have families. The male body, which is something entirely different, just wants to bang everything that moves. That is what the male body wants to do. That's what it is assigned to do. But you are not your body. That is the whole problem with this idea. And when they look at when they test animals, one of the really interesting tests that they do with animals sometimes, or bugs and insects, is they'll create a female who is more of what they like than any one that exists in nature. So, for instance, if there's a moth who likes dark moths, they'll dye a moth really dark. Or if there's a spider that likes hairy-legged spiders, which there are, they'll paste hair onto the spider's legs to see if they'll go for something that doesn't even exist in nature. The body wants everything. The body just wants all of what it wants. But people, humans, spirits, have choices that they make. When women have fantasies like 50 Shades of Grey, when they want cruelty in their life, that is the body reacting to their desire for strength. They want men who are strong, men who can support them, men who can defend them, men who will protect them, and men who will carry them through when they are still processing information, will make the decisions that would go, they always say lesbian couples never make decisions. They just process. The man is there to make those decisions. It is their body taking that to the extreme, taking that strength to the extreme. And women who live in their bodies, like men who live in their bodies, are usually headed for a very, very bad fall. So the women in your life are not looking for people to be cruel. This is my belief. They are looking for men to be strong, and the feminists are just reacting. What the feminists are is they're people who are so horrified by what their body is telling them, the abuse their body might be looking for, that they reject it, even strength, utterly, because they're afraid of themselves. They're afraid of what they really want. And that is my answer. Sexual follies. Can we play that thing again? I love that. I want to see the sexual follies thing again. All right. I just had to see that again.